Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayo, for the introduction. I want to appreciate everyone for showing up once again today. Trust me, it's not an easy meeting to organize, but we have to do this, and we're hoping that you can maximize this because this is not so easy to put together. And I noticed that some of the people were like, oh, they're looking for mails. Yeah, we sent mails to everyone, and always check your spam mails and any mail from us. If you treat it as important, it would definitely begin to go into your inbox directly. I also want to say that is the same link that we use every Sunday, right? So please take note of your link, and you may not get a broadcast from me from next week. That is to show that we only want people who really, really want to be here to be here. When we started, we said that we don't want another meeting where we have 200, 1,000 people, and we say we're impacting 1,000 people. No, we want people who can use what we're learning here. That's why this meeting is strictly for innovators, and they can use it to create, a business, an enterprise, a conglomerate that can serve the purpose of our world and, be a blessing to humanity. Basically, that is what we do here, right? So we're comfortable if we have 10 people who exactly know what they're doing. We don't want everybody. We just want the few. Is the Pareto Principle. 20% will do 80% of the work. 20%, we amass 80% of the wealth. That's how it works. So you need to choose whether you want to be in the 20% or not, right? So let's make it the best use of our time. And it's not just coming to listen, let's implement. I've implemented almost everything that we learned last week. I take my notes. It's here. I take notes all the time. Because, when you have an expert, a subject matter specialist, let's maximize it. The person we have, again, it continues this week, is a personal friend, one of my closest pals. There's nothing he doesn't tell me. And trust me, is one of the best, top range, not cheap to get him to sit down with you for an hour. It's one of the highest paid in that sector. Like you would listen last week, project management, it was about the first that brought project management in and started the training here in Nigeria. There in Nigeria. And so please, we're going to engage Goke Nathaniel again today. Goke, where are you? Is he in the house? I haven't seen him. There Goke Nathaniel. We call him the Otumba of love. Right? Very, very, Goke, we share, where he stands on every issue, and he knows how to chop his life. Even though I've warned him, he's eating some of the things I've told him not to eat. But good thing is I've sent Zuruzu bitters to him, so he can usually detoxify. Okay, Goke, can we have you take it over from here? How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me, PF, and thank you for all the good work that you do in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again today. Thank you so much for all the feedbacks that came in from last week's session. I got a few feedback, and I really, really do appreciate them. And I also see that the sessions are posted on YouTube. So if you need to have a refresher at any time, please go to Praise Forward's YouTube channel, and you can always have a good recap. Thank you so much. So today, I sent ahead some of the things that I wanted us to talk about, and I like the Dragon's Den's video I sent to you because it pretty much helps me to drive home some of the points that I'm going to share with you. I sent 2 different YouTube links. Dragon's Den. I'm not sure if we were able to watch both videos. I know one or so of it was shared just this morning, just this afternoon. So let's dive right into it. So last week we talked about quite a few things, and it was just like, an easy way to ease us into what we're trying to do. So today I said to myself that I probably need to spend some more time in the foundation laying of, most entrepreneurs or business people do not have the right mindset or the right foundation. So that pretty much affects every other thing that they build. So I thought I was going to do the recap from last week, but a good been done, and please refer to the video on YouTube if you need a recap of that. My time is fast spent, so I just want to dive right in. So I'm going to start with some of the common mistakes entrepreneurs make, or business people, common pitfalls while starting out in business. Number one I put down here is many people they're not ready as per putting their personal lives in order before going into business. And the power of, we underestimate how much influence our personal lives have on the outcome of our businesses or outcome of our ventures. So I'm just going to say to everyone who is listening, if you're thinking of doing business and you need to do it really big and really do it very well, you need to put your life in order first. And I know today we said we're going to try and do some paperwork and show you how to create a business model canvas. I'm not sure we would have the time to get there, but we will before the end of this 4 weeks period. That's one of the paperwork that's important for you to do. I know last week I was trying to tell you about the importance of proper business planning. A lot of people don't do proper business planning before jumping into doing business. You need to do your research. You need to have data that you will base your assumptions, your conclusions, and your inferences on. So it's very important. Some of the research that you need to do, I know the recap said a bit about that, is it really a problem that I am trying to solve? So if you, that Dragon's Den video, remember at the beginning, the pitch went very, very great. And if you look at the second video, not the one that was shown to us right now, the second video in the link, and the main problem the Dragons had with that particular entrepreneur is that the entrepreneur was trying to sell a non-existent solution. Was trying to sell a solution to a non-existent problem, or so that particular video was about an entrepreneur that was trying to sell bins, refuse bins, and it was going to be making it some type of outdoor advertising where the bins have they have some sort of reflective panels where people can display images and pass messages across. And that is actually the catch, the fact that it's not just a bin, but it could also generate advertising revenue. But the real issue that the Dragons had with that particular business was, number one, what brand would want to advertise on a refuse bin? Mm-hmm. Secondly, the price at which it was projecting that the services or the advertising would cost and that people would be willing to pay were just practically unreasonable. It didn't really make any sense. And he didn't see it as an entrepreneur, because if he did, he probably wouldn't go so far in his business. And maybe he saw it and he just totally ignored it, because, as I said last week, passion clouds objectivity. When you're very passionate about something, you don't do a lot of reflective thinking and research to understand, is there a market for this thing? How big is the market? How much of that market can I access? What would I need to be able to access that market? All of these questions need to be answered critically, because if we don't, we find ourselves in a situation whereby we're chasing shadows, we are doing something that really do not have any potential of being a real business. So number 3, pitfall, not working on a course that you believe in, but doing it because of all the other external factors like the money involved, it's the real in thing. It's important that there is intrinsic motivation. Very important. I know a lot of people in the room today are maybe in the knowledge industry. Some of us are trying to set up businesses that are not products related, but services related. And even for that category of people, it's even more important that the things that you do are the things that you're passionate about. I remember last week I said, there's a principle, there's a general principle for doing business. And if you apply that principle as copy and paste, it probably would work for anything. But again, people have emotions, and as an entrepreneur, the energy you put into your work is not just the energy you put into your work is influenced by your perception, your motivation, how energized you are emotionally. And if you don't have some personal motivation, some personal passion about that thing, then you might not be able to give it the right focus or the right energy. So number 4, not getting a good team in place. And I'm going to speak more about this in subsequently, because today, if anything, I want to teach you how to raise partners and how to raise money for your business, because that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs lack. They really, really have good business sometimes, but they just do not know how to raise the kind of partnerships that they need or the kind of money that they need. I'm going to spend a lot of time in that. But let me emphasize on this number 4 pitfall. If you don't have a good team, you're more likely to fail than to succeed. It's just a very sad reality. You are doing your business not just as an island, as an individual. You will need manpower, whether internal, external. There are people that are going to be rooting for you. So I remember one of my businesses when I started, I was using some people from my other company. So I didn't set up a full structure for this new business. It was largely me. And I was using a few people from my existing business to do some of the operational work that needed to be done. Because at that time, I was still ideating. So it was still in the ideation phase. So I didn't see the need to invest in human resource at that time. But I needed some basic team. I needed an accountant that could look at my financial model. I needed a lawyer that could do a few due diligence for me. I also needed some tax person that could help with, because the business was going to have some international dimensions to it. So I wanted to know what market it was good to play at the beginning, considering tax regime. Where do we set up the business? Where do we register it? Where is it smart for tax efficiency purposes and all of that? And I kid you not, the business lost a lot of money and we didn't even make a lot of traction, just simply because I hired a very bad lawyer to do the work for me. Because sometimes when we say the right team, you might be thinking, oh, the people that work and operate the business. Yes, that's super important. But even at the startup phase, before you begin to have all of those people, the person you're collaborating with, the consultants providing you with data, some of the people you're sharing your information with, the lawyers that is doing your business registration, the accountants that is doing your financial modeling, all those people must really be the right people. They must be excellent people if your business is. So you need to have a good team. Number 5, which I'm also going to talk about much later, not bootstrapping enough. So you see a lot of entrepreneurs at the beginning, even when they really don't need a lot of investment money, they pump in a lot of money and that becomes a problem. So there was this particular person, a lady, who wanted to set up a desert catering services. She wanted to do all these sweet foods and pastries and some of these things that they serve at events. She also wants to have like a top shop where she could do all of these things. Now, the problem with that was, even though she had done a formal training and she had the skill to do those particular products, but she doesn't have business skills. She's really never done business on her own. So the first thing I said to her is, you probably need to intern somewhere, find someone who does what you currently do and offer to work in their business, even if you do it for free for a couple of months, for you to learn the business side of things. And no, she thought she was too big to do that. And all she needed at that time was just money to get a shop, to get equipment, to hire people, and then things would fall into place. And that was exactly what she did. So she managed to raise money, personal money, money from her husband, money from her family. She raised a couple of millions of naira, got a shop, equipped the shop, but she struggled throughout, so she had to close the shop after about a year. The reason it's not because the business is not viable, it's not because she doesn't have a good product. The problem in that instance was because she did not do what she needed to do before raising money. You need to understand your business is like a baby. And when you get pregnant and you have an infant at delivery, you don't want to buy that infant a house. That's not the immediate next steps. You need to nurture the infant. You need to feed the infant. You need to give the infant the basics. So you don't buy the infant a car that the infant will not need until 16 years down the road when they begin to learn how to drive. What happens in that period? The car depreciates, the car loses its value, and you've just lost money. And it's the same thing with business. A lot of entrepreneurs do not bootstrap enough. They do not work on the business and do it and prove the concept before putting in their money or other people's money. And of course, the business will fail. Yeah, so on the valuing your business or overselling your business, that I've said here that sometimes we undervalue the market size, we undervalue the importance of our operation within the bigger picture of the market that you're playing in. And that is a big problem because you then overestimate how much return you can make, you overestimate how much investments you need, and then that's a big problem. Not knowing the difference between a business and a product. So you can have a product that is good, there's a good demand for it, and that might then give you a business. But there is a difference between a business and a product in the fact that sometimes products go out of vogue, sometimes products become obsolete. What then happened to your business? As an entrepreneur, you need to be able to see your business, understand that living organism, and look at it differently from the products that is created within your business. So that was what happened. I mean, there's this popular story of Kodak, where at some point they were just manufacturing films for photography, but at some they knew they needed to evolve. If not, the business would die. So your product is not your business, because right now today, I'm not sure, but almost nobody buys photography films. We all just take pictures on our phone, and then you can have as many digital copies as you want, and you save them in the clouds. So there's a difference between your product and your business. There was a time where we do go to these little shops that buy videotapes. Oh, I know, I grew up in Kaduna, so we do that quite a lot. So there are these little shops that are set up, and they buy all this movie in tapes, and we go rent them, and you return them in 2 days, and you pay something for it. I can't remember. That was a business at some point. The product was the tapes, the video, yes, video clubs. Those the video cassettes were the things that they were renting out. And if you look at it in the West, so I lived and worked in the UK, you have Blockbuster. It's a big franchise. They're all over the place, where they pretty much rent out videos like the small video clubs that we have here in Nigeria at the time. And guess what? Netflix came, Hulu came, Disney TV came, all these people came, and they typically took over that particular business model. and Blockbuster no longer exists today. So there's a difference between your business and your product. You need to have that clear understanding even at the time when you're starting out. Today, you look at Tesla, for instance, they are into electric vehicles. But when you listen to Elon Musk, that's not his business. That's just one product. And there are several other things that they're doing, and they're evolving. They're currently doing space exploration. They're currently doing a lot with renewable energy, even outside powering automobiles. Those are the kind of thinking that would make your business survive on the long term as an entrepreneur. Then number 8 here, I say scaling too soon. So now you started your business, you're doing well, and you think it's now the time to open another branch in Abuja, another branch in London, another branch in Johannesburg. Sometimes when we scale too soon, it's like giving that baby you have responsibilities that they are not mature enough to handle. There is going to be operational problems, from brand inconsistency across board to just not being able to have a hang of operational excellence, quality problem with your product, or even cash flow issues. Now you spread yourself so thin, you don't have money to do some of the things that you need to do, and then you begin to drop the ball. Those are some of the things that give businesses problems at the beginning. So as an entrepreneur, these are some of the things you need to stay cognizant of. I want to scale. I mean, start every business to succeed, to expand, to do great things, and to do within a very short time. It's fine. And there are a few unicorns that have proven that your business can actually scale to incredible proportions within a very short time. But you need to know that really, truly, you're a unicorn for you to then do that confidently. Otherwise, you need to take things easy and a little slowly. So yeah, so those are the 8 things I've identified as some of the common pitfalls that entrepreneurs need to watch out for when they're starting out their business. So the next thing I want to talk about right now is how to set up and identify the right partnerships. So now you started your business, or you have your idea, maybe you've not even started the business, but you know for sure that there are certain skills and competencies that the business requires that you do not have. You have an option. You either hire someone to do it, or you go ahead and find someone who can join you as a co-founder. And let me say this to you for free. When you go to the world of funds raising, fund sourcing, hedge funds manager, VCs, equity players, they are constantly looking for business that are structured in partnerships. It's better for them. The key man risk is not there. They're a lot more confident about the business than if it was just a one-man show. So yes, having a partnership is always the best approach, in my opinion. I believe so. I'm going to use Nigeria as my context, and also maybe emerging economies generally. We don't do a lot of partnerships here, and it's sad because we shortchange ourselves largely. And I think it's because of the culture of lack of trust as well. I remember very clearly growing up, my parents had a few businesses, and they had lots of trouble in their businesses. And a big part of their trouble was the partnerships that they got into, and how that the other players didn't come to the table with clear motives or honest intentions. And I remember I became an adult, I went to school, I came back to Nigeria from the UK, and I wanted to start my business. And I had a few options for partnership. And my parents, of course, because my dad is an excellent businessman, I'm always comparing notes with him. And my mom too. And they both were like, no, don't do partnerships, do your business on your own. people are this, people are that, partnership is this, partnership is that. And I recollect very vividly how they would bring their own personal experiences into giving me those advice. And honestly, I do not blame them, because we actually are the sum total of what we know, the places we've been, and the experiences that we've had. So I shied away from having partnerships until much, much later in the business, when I had a personal life crisis and I couldn't give my business the time and the attention that it needed. I know that if I don't then open up for partnership, I will lose my business, or I'm going to lose a lot of my customers, just simply because I can't not service them as I should. I have a lot going on in my personal life, and it was becoming a major distraction for me. So I'm a big advocate for partnership, but right, because we want to do partnership does not mean every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a worthy partner. I'm going to say this for business partnership is very similar to marriage. It's like marriage, because this person, you're coming together to have a baby, the business. So you're both parents of this particular business, and two cannot work together unless they agree. So it's important for you to go into partnership with the right mindset, with the right understanding, and looking for the right thing. So I've put down a few things which I'm going to go through very quickly. The first thing is, you first need to decide the type of structure the partnership would have. Is it a co-founder situation? Is it a general partnership where it's my business, it's my baby, you're an equity participator, but just because you're giving me money, you don't participate in executive decision making regarding how the business is done. Sorry, that's limited partnership I've just described. General partnership is where we both are equally liable for the business, what we put into the business, the risk the business is facing, the liabilities the business is facing, the profits the business is facing. We're sharing it equally. So that's general partnership. General partnership is, I see you, you see me, we have an idea, we agree on what to do, we form a business together. Sometimes, even if you do not have any signed document, or you do not have any contractual agreement, general partnership can still be binding on both parties. I'm going to let the lawyers work out the technical details of that, just so that you know, before you go into a general partnership with someone. Someone is trying to say something. Okay, I see that comment. I'll come back to it. So before you get into a business with someone, even in general, especially with general partnership, know that if they take out a loan, for instance, in the name of the business, that's a liability for the business. If anything goes wrong, you are also liable to fixing and solving and paying back that loan. So is it general partnership? Is it limited partnership where I'm just giving you money, I have equity stake, you go ahead and do what you have to do, you make regular reports to me, and that is all, and that's how far I'm involved in the business. That's also a type of partnership. You can decide it's a co-founder type situation where you have a complementary skill or resource that I do not have, and we need to make the business work. So I'm a technical guy. I'm extremely good with writing codes. I can develop a working IT machine, but I don't have business skills. I don't know how to run a business, operations, marketing, sales. This kind of conversation is something I don't know how to do. Then I need to find someone who can do that, so that we then can be two people who have different but complementary skill for the business. Number two, both parties need to share the same value. So going by the comment that came in, that trust is the biggest problem. And that's so true. Trust is a major factor to why people don't get into partnerships, or existing partnerships do not work very well. Maybe not the biggest issue, but it's a major issue. So let me not say it's the biggest issue. Let me just say it's a major issue. Trust is important. And because you don't have trust, there'll be a lot of misalignment. So yeah, at this point says, make sure that you both have similar values. So what are your values as an individual? You need to be clear on that. And you need to know for sure that that's also what you're looking for in a partner. So say, for instance, I'm big on honesty, I'm big on due diligence and doing things the right way. I'm big on compassion and charity and making sure that a lot of what I do is having some sort of social impact to it. I need to make sure that my partner is someone like that as well, or someone with that value at least, because you don't want to be arguing around how much of our business do we give out for the sake of the poor. So you could say, okay, there's a business in the Chick-fil-A. It's one of the most successful franchises in America. It's a fast food chain. They don't open on Sundays, for instance. It's a Christian value or something borrowed from Judaism that one of the founders have, or that the real founders have. If you want to partner with somebody like that, you need to have that same value. If not, you would not work. Say, for instance, I do a lot of community service, charity. I believe in a lot of social impact. You would notice, so you can expect that a lot of my pricing or a lot of the way I do business will be influenced with that kind of thinking. And if I have someone who doesn't believe in that, the person is Wall Street Shylock type person, winner grabs all, can't really be bothered, just wants to make as much money as possible, then we have a conflict just simply because our values does not align. So you need to find someone that your value align. I've said this. Number 3, make sure that the person complements you. There is a complementary skill that they are bringing to the table. You don't want someone who is exactly like you. So you're a technical person. Say, for instance, you're a counselor. You're very good with helping people figure out their lives, with helping people solve all of their emotional problem, blah, blah, blah. So you're setting up a business around that. You don't want someone who is exactly like you to be your only partner. If you have somebody like that and is a partner, you know you still need somebody else. You still need someone who is then tech savvy, who can figure out a way to move all of the things you're doing on technology platform, or someone who is business savvy and can help you think through business development strategies and think through the numbers and how you will make money as a practicing counselor. So make sure that your partner has a complementary skill. You don't want someone who does exactly the same thing. So 2-3 years ago, there was a business I was going to do with someone very dear friend, very, very dear friend. And from a value standpoint, we align, but from a complementary skill standpoint, we do not align. We're pretty much the same thing. Also an HEC alum, also an NYU, London School of Economics, tight egghead, someone who thinks business strategy, but we have need for some other skills, like a tech person, and I don't do tech. She's not into tech. And it just became very obvious that we are the same people. We are practically the same person. We can decide to still form the partnership and then find a third partner or a fourth partner who can then provide all of those skills. But me and I alone wouldn't have delivered on what we needed to do, so don't go into partnership with emotions and sentiments. You need to both sit down and say, you know what, this cannot work, assuming you have already started talking before you figure these things out. Or if you have not started talking at all, you know this is something you need to put at the back of your mind when you're looking for a partner. So yeah, in my case with her, we've done a lot of work already together. In fact, we have about 2 clients already, and we just discovered that no, we are not a perfect fit as per partnerships. Guess what? We went our separate ways. We stopped being friends for a few months, but we're back and we're cool now. And we both were able to go past the emotions that surrounds this kind of decision to be very objective and make up our minds on what we need to do. Right. Number 4, have history together. I actually think best partners are those who are also friends somehow, somewhat. Look for someone within your immediate circle first. If there is nobody within your immediate circle that you have a history together, then you can expand the search to someone who have gone through something similar to yours, or someone who has some cultural, historical, or just have some sort of background like yours that can be a common platform of understanding where both of you can then understand and interact with each other with. That, but quite frankly, you know, when you're getting married to someone, they say marry your friend. I think it's similar to business. When you're going into a business partnership, make sure that the person is first your friend, because a lot of the things that you would do with your business partner would involve chemistry. You guys need to have some chemistry. You guys need to have some mutual respect, mutual understanding, mutual trust. And that we can only achieve with someone that you have some form of prior history with. There are successful partnerships that doesn't have this. I don't say it has to be. I'm just saying this is your default go-to if you have to choose. Number 5, clearly define the roles and responsibilities of each partner. So now we're in partnership, but who is doing what exactly? It's important that roles are clearly defined at the get-go. Everybody needs to know what party is responsible for what as far as the business is concerned. Trust was raised by someone, and I think I should just use it as my final point. Honesty with yourself and with your partner is important. And that's the basis upon which trust will be built. Try as much as possible to not just be honest at the beginning, but also make sure that this is somebody you can be honest with on the long run. Some people, you know, you have to manage, you have to give half information to because they would get overboard, or I mean, those are not the kind of people you need. Your partner needs to be someone that you can be honest with 100%, even after you guys have started the business. And that is a short way to have trust built amongst both of you. So yes, that's something I thought I needed to bring up in this class. So if you're going to do a good business, a business that would scale, a business that would attract the right funding, you can't go alone. You need to think of it in terms of partnership. If you have a partner right now, great for you. If you do not have a partner, it's something you need to start seriously considering. So you need to draw up a quadrant of, this is me, these are my skills, this is the business I'm doing, this is the skills that I don't have, but the business needs, and this is how I would get the person to partner with me or to be a co-founder with me. Make sure that those people understand exactly why you want them to come partner with you. Because sometimes we just go to someone and say, oh, I have this business, I want you to be my partner. And we're not exactly clear on what role we want them to play. And those kind of vagueness could be a problem, because the person then is not able to make informed decision on whether this partnership is what they want or this partnership is what they should do. So please have that at the back of your mind. It's very, very important that you clarify what you want from the person that you want to partner with. So yes, that would be it regarding how to set up your business, pitfalls to avoid, the kind of things you should do, and lastly, the partnerships that you should be looking for, how to attract the right kind of partners. Now, let's talk about the investment. By the way, if you have questions, please feel free to drop the questions. I'm going to address them because if I understand your peculiar situation, I might be able to give a context to some of my explanations. And I believe that learning is reinforced when it's applied to personal situations. So yes, please feel free to ask me questions and I would do my best to answer them. So now let's talk about Lara Relay, you're raising your hand. Please go ahead and type your questions. We would attend to them. Now, there is someone who has a viable business. There is someone who is excited about the product they're creating because it's solving a problem. This person had gone ahead and has found a co-partner or a co-founder, and they are both good people. They both have complementary skill. They've both done excellent paperwork. They have done all the relevant research they needed to do. Now, how do we move on to raising the money that we need for our business? And yes, the question came in, does my partner need to contribute financially to the business? The answer is no. No, they do not have to. There's something we call sweat equity. And actually, in my personal opinion, and trust me, I'm in private equity. And in my years of working as a VC, and even as an entrepreneur on the other side, who is looking for funding from VCs, who is starting businesses and creating all these products, I come to understand that money is the least thing you can bring to the table when a business is about to be formed. Cash is king. There is no doubt about that. Cash is king. And the amount of cash flow you have would largely impact on how successful the business will be. But then the truth is, there are many options for raising money. Many options for raising money. The most popular Fs are 3 Fs: family, friends, fools. Your family can give you money, your friends can give you money, either as a loan, as a debt, or maybe they're buying equity into the business. Anybody that gives you money that is not your family, is not related to you, is not your friend, just heard about your business idea and decide to put money into it, I call them fools. And a lot of fools do play off. Just ignore. It's just a funny way of characterizing that kind of play. But yes, we have angel investors everywhere now. Another follow-up question to that was, how then do we quantify their percentage in the business? That's a very tricky question. And there is no general formula to it. I'm just going to be very honest with you. If it's a tech business, this business is a technology-based business. I am not a technology person. I have the idea. I understand what I want to do, but my actual solution is a tech solution. If I hire a CTO, for instance, someone at the same skill level as myself, but just on the tech side. How much would I pay this person monthly? How much would I pay them in a year? That is a way to quantify the sweat equity that they are bringing to the table. If you look at your business today and you want to value it, I'm also going to teach us today on how to value a business. What kind of valuation would you give that business? I'm going to be honest, for startups, most valuation can be argued. And if you look through the Dragon's Den video we saw, there was a lot of argument around the valuation. In fact, 4 dragons told the guy, I'm not investing, I'm out, just simply because they felt the business was overvalued. So there is always that back and forth and that conundrum between investors and business owners or entrepreneurs around how do we value the business? What would we say the value of this business is? But for the sake of this point I'm about to make, let's say you come up with the value of your business to say, okay, this business is currently valued at $100,000. That's 50 million naira. If you will pay a CTO at my level, you probably would pay them up to $150,000 or $200,000 per annum. What they are bringing to the business in terms of sweat is much more valuable than the business. So you can't immediately say, oh, your sweat equity is worth 10% of the business, or your sweat equity is worth 30% of the business. In that case, what you can do is look at the future value of the business. How do you get to the future value of the business? You can use a few indicators. What's your competition currently doing? What's the size of the accessible market to you? Based on the fact that you, the business owner, have bootstrapped up until now, you've made some income, you have some revenue, you have a particular trajectory. You can use that trajectory plus the fact that you have a few signed partnerships with maybe retailers or people that would buy your products and things like that, or distributorship deal, and come up with some valuation that is bigger than $100,000. If I'm going to do it, usually I use the income that the business has generated over the last 2 years. I try to find the highest income in that period. So I'm going to find, so let's say the last 1 year, the business had made 20 million naira in income. I typically will multiply that by 3 or 5 to come up with the valuation of the business over another 3 or 5 years. All of that complex mathematics, which is very subjective depending on who is doing the calculation, makes it difficult to put a value on how much somebody's skill is worth, especially if it's a skill you cannot afford to hire someone to do, but they are bringing it on the table. And without that skill, you don't actually have a business, because in this case, you're a tech company and you don't have technology skill as a founder. So you need either a co-founder that has a technology skill, or you hire a CTO, which you cannot afford to do. I would then structure what I believe is fair, and we can negotiate. Also remember, I personally do not like 50-50 partnership, and there is a lot of research work that has been published on why 50-50 partnership is not the best, because when you have 50-50 partnership, then there is no, who then becomes the CEO, who then is the one who has the veto power when both of you are not aligned. on a particular decision, and yet a decision needs to be made, would then go ahead and implement the decision. So it's important to have someone have some more than the other person. But again, how much you give the person, in very simple terms, I'm going to say it's not fixed to nobody. I can't sit there and say, oh, you give your partner 10% or you give your partner 10%. No, it depends on the scenario. It depends on the value of the business today and the value of the business 5 years from now. It depends on what the person is bringing to the table, the value of their work. It depends on how much the business will perform if you remove that sweat equity that they're bringing. All of that would influence the percentage that you give to that person. So yeah, I can't give you a very definite answer, but it's open to negotiation. I'm in partnerships where I have just 20%. I'm in partnership where I have 49%. I'm in partnerships where I have 4%. So it depends on the partnership, what I'm bringing to the table, and what is expected of me. So now let's move on. Attracting investment. Number one, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. You need to be solving a real problem. Nobody wants to give money to charity if an investor does not see the potential of your business on the long term. There's a big chance they're not going to give you money. And how do they see the potential of your business on the long term? If they see clearly the problem that you're solving. It has to be obvious that your business is solving a problem. Number two, attracting the right investment, you must have the right advice and the right expert. So this is what I mean. I remember when I was coming up with this one, I was actually thinking about the businesses that I've invested in. So a little bit about myself. I'm in private equity and I'm also a VC. I'm a management consultant still. I've been a management consultant now for 15 plus years. And I discovered that the businesses that I've invested in, actually 2 businesses I invested in 2020 and 2021, 2 years ago and last year, were largely businesses that came to me seeking advice as a mentor or as some professional consultant that they trust and can provide insight into what they do. And I think it's a really clever strategy. I'm not even sure if these people had that at the back of their mind when they were approaching me. I think they were just looking genuinely for good advice. And then they came to me. And of course, I told them what I knew. I helped them with a few things on the business. When they needed to raise money, it was no-brainer. I knew that this was a good business, it's viable. I saw potential. I see where they're going. It was very easy for me to invest in that particular business. So yes, my point here is you need to find experts. If the experts would not even eventually invest like I did based on what I've just shared with you, they can guide you on how to package your product, package your business, make it look attractive. So don't just have some idea. Maybe you've even started that working on that idea and it's already a business and think now it's time to start looking for investor. You need to find experts that can look at your business critically and offer you advice. I would say the first go-to should be a management consultant. You probably then can look at financial analysts to also look at your numbers and ask critical questions, the kind of questions that the potential investors would ask, just so that you're prepared and maybe even make adjustments when necessary. My time is fast spent, so I'm going to rush through this. Number 3, you need to prove your idea. You need to prove your idea. I can't say this well enough. So the Dragon's Den video we saw, the guy who got the funding, even after 4 dragons said they weren't doing, they were out because they were upset at his valuation. And I believe the guy's valuation is solid. I think he has a good valuation, to be honest. But again, investors on the other side, they would negotiate based on that valuation and try to bring it down as much as possible. I think the guy's valuation is fair, considering all of the factors that the case presented. But now, the guy who eventually invested after the entrepreneur gave a background of not just what he did in his previous business, but also how much work they have done on this current business. So the guy said to them, we have this market, we have this signed partnership, we have this platform ready, and we have sold X, Y, Z over this particular period in the past. That is the kind of gist an investor wants to hear. An investor does not want you to use their money to prove the product, to prove the product or to prove your business. No, I'm an investor. You can't use my money for proof of concept. Your proof, the proving of the concept of the viability of the business, that is your headache. You go sort that out. You go make sure that the business is viable by coming with real numbers of existing customers, people who had bought from you in the past, and that way an investor will be a lot more interested. So prove your idea firsthand. If you have results to show, you're more likely going to attract funding. Number 4, have worthy people on your team. In a research that was carried out, actually, the product and the business is not the biggest reason people would invest in a solution. It's a reason, but it's not the biggest reason. The biggest reason why investors invest in a business is the people behind the business. So last year we raised some money for some clients. This year we're about raising money for some other few clients, and we're about funding a few clients. And I remember, and I can tell you categorically that the businesses that has been easiest to invest in, sometimes $10 million, sometimes $20 million, have been businesses who have solid people on the team, not necessarily businesses that look the shiniest on paper. So have a solid team. Make sure that the people who you're partnering with or your co-founders, they have solid resume. Investors look at that primarily before they even consider putting money into your business. Number 5, be clear on the return on investment. So you're coming to me, you're asking me to put money in your business. Don't just hype the business, hype the product, hype the market. It's important that you clearly tell me, the investor, what is a need for me. The return on investment needs to be very clear. And the next point to that, which is point number 6, you need to have a clear exit strategy for your investor. You're telling the investor, give me $10,000. I would give you XYZ in return over ABC period time frame. And this is how that money is going to come. This is where the money is going to come from. And this is how we would exit. Look at the guy who got the funding in the Dragon's Den video. Another thing he said, that would the person that gave him $250,000 was he had a clear exit strategy He said the business was in a position, or the way they're building the business is so that they could sell it to a bigger buyer after a particular period of working on it. Those kind of exit strategy conversation is what investors like to hear. So please go with a clear investment exit strategy. I'm also going to say, look for investors that are willing to give not just money, but also give advice. If I would invest personally, I will more likely invest in a business where I can contribute something. So if it's a business that doesn't need me or my expertise, there is a big chance that I would not prefer that particular investment. But that's me. I know there are a lot of investors that just do not care about the business and how it operates. They just want to put money into some machine and get their return at the time that they've been speculated. But that would not work for you the best as an investor. As an investor, it's important that when you're looking for funding, make sure you also target not, if you will prioritize the funding source that can also participate in the business from an oversight point of view, from a corporate governance point of view, from even an advisory point of view. So if I had put in $1 million in a business, I probably would listen if the CEO calls me and say, hey, Nathaniel, I want to speak to you. Please create time for me. There's a bigger chance that I'll create time for them and even give them free advice. So these are some of the things that you should think about as an entrepreneur looking to raise money. Okay, here, I also wrote it down that you should join an accelerator program. 2 things an accelerator program would do for you. No, 3 things. Number 1, an accelerator program would train you. And you have quite a few of them. You have the Y Combinator. They're one of the most popular ones. They would train you. They will give you tools and resources, number 2. And number 3, they would also give you reputation. So if you're a Y Combinator business or that's gone through Y Combinator program, investors are more likely to look at you favorably. And these opportunities exist. You just need to research. You just need to get on the internet. You just need to apply. And you'll be shocked at how much you'll get in. 2 businesses I invested in last year. One of them got into 2 different accelerator programs, and they then had to even choose which one they would go for eventually, one of which was Y Combinator. So please find an accelerator program to be part of, and it will greatly increase your chances of raising investment. Number 7, take advantage of, I think it's number 8 now. Take advantage of online crowdfunding platforms. So you have a number of them, which I think is one of the easiest way to raise money, especially if you just need a few tens of thousands of dollars or a few hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have, I've invested on WeFounder before I lost the money. There are businesses on WeFounder, there are businesses on Fundly, there is Circle Up, there's Angel List. There are several online platforms where you could actually raise money from. So there are a number of online crowdfunding platforms. Do your research, find them. They all have entry requirements. Make sure that you've matched those requirements. I know last week I was saying that a lot of businesses are not investable, not because they are not profitable or not because they are not making money, just because they have not done the right things over the years. They don't keep their books. They don't have defined processes. Their brand elements, brand identity, brand essence is not clear. That kind of business, even if they have millions and millions in inventory or millions and millions in bank balance, investors are not likely going to touch them because they don't have benchmarks. They don't have things to use to calculate or do due diligence or whatever. So it's important that we go through all of these basics, teaching you how to get your business off the ground, so that when it's time to start raising money, you will not be deemed as non-investable. So I'm going to say that as an assignment from today's class, go research a few accelerator programs, like Y Combinator, for instance. Go find such types of accelerator programs and figure out what are their requirements. Not even because you want to get in right now, but just because you want to start building your business and tailoring your business such that if the time comes and you need to get in, you already have the portfolio that you need to get in. And assignment number 2 will be for you to research some of this crowdfunding platform. I have done we founders before. I've done Fundly before. There is Angel List. There is Circle Up. Check for all of this crowdfunding platform. Go on their website, read up on them, recognize what do they even need for them to list you. Because very simple, they will list you, they will send emails to their database, tell people about your business and tell people to invest. How do they do it? What do you need to put in place to qualify to be listed? Those sort of things are the things you need to start researching, and that's something that I want you to do over the next 1 week before we show up again. Okay, so I spent an hour, I think. Yes, I think. And I still have a few things I've not done or said. I wanted to talk today about how to value your business. So when it's time to do valuation, because whether you're choosing a co-founder or you're finding a business partner or you're looking for an investor, it's important for you to know your business valuation at that point. I was hoping I could talk about that. I don't know if PF, what do you think?
How many minutes? How many minutes would that take? Or do we start from then next week? Because you have given us a lot to chew already.
Right. I'm going to start from then next week. So we'll do how to value your business. We'll do how to attract customers. Then I'll also try and find some link online so that I probably would try and attend to building a business model canvas, because as a minimum, after these 4 weeks, you need to have a business model canvas for your business. That's the minimum that needs to happen by the time you're done. So I'll probably start with that, then send a few templates and links through PF to everyone so that we can research that, do some read-ups before we come to class, and then we take it from there.
Thank you very much, Sumba. See, my note is full. I'm writing like a diligent student. I hardly would. I mean, this is too much. Thank you very much. Honestly, I don't know how we can even pay for all you've shared. But guys, I think I need you to guys to unmute yourself and just say thank you to Otumba. I mean, you guys should scream and say thank you.
Thank you, Otumba.
Thank you, Otumba. Thank you.
Otumba, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Otumba.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, okay. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Guys, you have no reason to fail. Why we're doing this is because many of us started business as ideas people. And Nigeria never teaches you how to run a business properly. You have to figure things out. Even when they say this is a business school, the business school ends up not being a business school. You will still have to figure out how to build from scratch. And that's why most of the ideas from us never scale Africa. So before you know it, with all the intricacies, you begin to do deals. And that's the end. You begin to fund a lifestyle. We're doing this so that we can understand the A to Z, the basics of running a business, so that we're not just servicing a lifestyle and we can run it properly. I mean, one of the most critical part of running a business is what he has done today on bringing in partners, valuation, how to determine what to offer your partners. These are conversations that you hire consultants to help you moderate. And it has given this to us based on relationship. Guys, build relationships. Trust me, build relationships. I have people like Otumba in my life. We have incredible relationships. Please build relationships. I must tell you, because you will always need people. You will always need people. Thank you very much, Otumba. I mean, my heart is full of joy for that which you have given today. It's incredible. It's incredible. We don't know how to say thank you. So please, guys, he has given us assignment, research accelerators programs, and research crowdfunding platforms. Those are the 2 tasks we have for this week. Please do your assignment. Begin to make adjustments in your business. See, order is the prerequisite for growth, right? Peace is the prerequisite for prosperity. Once you begin to put orderliness in place in your business, it's a prayer point. You don't need to make mouth prayer. It's a prayer point to say, I have gone past what I'm earning, my turnover and my profit. God, I'm qualified for some higher levels of deals. That's what is happening, right? Once you begin to prepare, opportunities will find you. That's how it works. It's not by, setting up prayer meetings and that we normally do. Just do the thing, right? That's prayer. God will send answers. You said the still, God will send the wind. It's that simple, right? So I look forward to seeing you. I will hand over to Ayo for the announcements we have. But this has been an incredible class. Thank you for those of you who are joining us for the first time. We hope to see you. Okay, Ayo, over to you for the announcement.
Thank you so much. Quickly chip in before. Okay, sorry. I want to add the 3rd assignment. Please, I want you to draft a persona of your ideal business partner. What would an ideal business partner or co-founder look like? So just draft like a 1-pager CV of what that co-founder business partner would look like, their qualifications, their age, their experience, the gender. Just have that written out, and we can then start looking forward to finding people that meet that profile going forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nathaniel. Thank you so much, PF. What I've actually done at my end is I have created a folder for House of Saviors. And as we are having our conversations, I'm typing, I'm better with that, I'm typing and I'm having my folder for now and the future. So I just want to encourage each and every one of us, let's not just listen. Let's ensure that we are taking notes, and not that we are just taking notes, we are actioning the things we are putting down. There are so many things that Otumba has said this afternoon that are just in sync with my direction as a person in business, and even for the business this year. So it's important for us to take action. Let's not just be hearers. Let's not just be people who are interested in just going for meetings and gatherings, but we are actioning daily the things we have been told. And like PF said, these are actions. These are prayers. Our actions, our words, our thoughts, our prayers. And in no time, we will take delivery of everything we desire. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a part. I'd like us to put off screen, yes, our announcement for today. Yes, I've appreciated each and every one of us, for making it here today. And I know that it's been worth your 1 hour, 39 minutes so far. Would like you to continue coming for those who are coming for the very first time. And if this place looks like, where you want to hang out every week, please invite other people as well. Life is not about you, taking in and not sharing with other people that have the same DNA as you, who know what they are doing, who know where they are going. Please bring them in so that we all grow together and make wherever we find ourselves, better. Our meetings are about impact, and we expect you to go out there to practicalize all you have learned every week, all you have learned every week. I'd like to tell us that please let's keep this link. We'll stop making broadcasts because we believe that if it's something that is very important to you, you don't have to be reminded. So if something is important, we'll put it on your to-do list, your alarm or whatever, because it is important. So let's keep this link. Let's keep this time so that we meet here every week and we become better. The House of Savior is the flagship project of Praise Forward Research, LLC USA. We don't levy anyone, but we encourage you to support the project. There are so many things we do in the background, and we have this following details for you to pay into so that we can continue to run this project. We have the PayPal, we have Zelle, we have Interact, we have Flutterwave. And if you would like to do the bank transfer, we have Praise Forward International Zenith Bank 101-492-7099. Better still, just screen grab. Just screen grab this and keep in a place wherein you can always, take it and send what you have to us at the House of Saviors. Thank you so much. Can we have our creed up? Okay, before we take the creed, there are a few things I'll just, pinpoint in the creed, then we'll take it up. It says we influence our world with superior lifestyle and solutions wherever we go. And we take responsibility for what happens in us and around us. So here, we don't put blame on anyone. Whatever is happening in our lives, we tell ourselves that it is my responsibility. Whether it's positive, whether not so good, it is my responsibility. And as we take that to heart, we find out that our impact becomes much more, our influence becomes much more. So yes, we can now take our creed as we wrap up this afternoon, this morning, maybe evening, depending on the part of the world you're joining us from. So let's go, let's unmute if we can. If there is no noise in your background, just unmute and let's take this together. 1, 2, 3, go.
We belong
to
to
the
tribe of saviors and are trustworthy.
Whatever
Goes out of us pass the test of worship unto God. We influence our world with superior lifestyle and solutions everywhere we go. We take responsibility for what happens with us and around us. Love is what you experience when you encounter us. As saviors, we create solutions for the world.
And to create solutions for the world. That's who we are. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of today's meeting. We meet again, same time, same venue, next week, Sunday. Bye.
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 Bye.